Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barreto. Let's take a look at the headlines. The Prime Minister reveals initiatives from meeting with Port of Spain East residents and opposition members. Cabinet approves removal compensation for residents of Golconda to Debe section of the highway. And the Red Steel bowled out of semis in the Caribbean Premier League final. To our top story, a rapid response unit, 300 new vehicles, and an increase in manpower for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, expansion of the CCTV network, a citizen security program, and the strengthening of the Police Complaints Authority are among some of the initiatives the government plans to implement to fight the rising crime problem in the nation's capital and beyond. Prime Minister the Honourable Kamala Persad-Bissessar made the announcement after she met with opposition leader Dr. Keith Rowley, cabinet ministers and opposition members in a meeting called to address the crime problem.
In a press briefing afterwards at the office of the Prime Minister, OPM St. Clair, Mrs. Persad-Bissessar said she was heartened partisan politics was put aside to address problems which drew greater public concern last week after 6 people were murdered in East Port of Spain within 24 hours.
We agreed to the creation of a criminal offence to deal with illegal home invasions, and we recognize that urban renewal could be part of the solution to the problems being faced in the urban areas of the city. We discussed further capital offences and anti-gang legislation to be included in discussions with the teams that will meet next week.
She said there was also debate on whether a parliamentary standing committee on crime suspension and security was needed, but further discussion was needed on it. Some of the initiatives, she said, would require legislation and some would not.
A rapid response unit. Approval has been given for the Acting Commissioner of Police to form a rapid response unit, and in this regard to purchase 300 new vehicles for the police service. I'm advised that these vehicles should be available in the month of September, sometime in September. This rapid response unit will be consisting of response teams, which will be equipped with advanced technological devices to improve police response time to crimes that are in progress.
The Prime Minister said to staff the unit and to assist with increasing manpower in the TTPS, a specialized training program for Special Reserve Police officers was initiated last June. The first batch of officers from the program are expected to graduate next month. She said a CCTV expansion project started in November 2012 was expected to continue.
As of August 2013, 873 cameras have been installed in areas including Beetham, Laventille and Tobago. There are proposals being sent out now for central, south and western areas, the southern and western areas. A notice currently before Cabinet for amendment to the Customs Act and VAT Act to remove duties and taxes on the purchase of CCTV cameras, and that is being pursued assiduously.
Cabinet approval, she said, had been given to extend the program in communities in East Port of Spain. Social initiatives, she said, were intended to bring a long-term resolution to the issues of crime in communities.
With respect to East Port of Spain, in particular, over the past weeks we have witnessed several brutal murders of young people in East Port of Spain. These crimes brought responses of anger, shock and indeed of great sadness. Many measures have been considered in response to this upsurge in violence. However, I wish to assure the nation that the actions of my government are not merely reactive to the current violence, nor are they confined to only one geographic area. We seek long-term visions and strategies for the transformation of East Port of Spain, as indeed several other areas and communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
Mrs. Persad-Bissessar said the government had mandated the East Port of Spain Development Company to develop and redevelop the area and to improve economic, social and physical conditions of the community. The Prime Minister says projects valued at over 25 million have been started in areas such as Mova, Upper Belmont, Sealots and John John, among others, and several people have been employed under them. Mrs. Passad Bissessa said from her discussions with the residents of East Port of Spain and others, the communities wanted to be self-sufficient, and proposals have been put forward, including housing and sustained employment programs, community training programs for school dropouts and unqualified youths. She said the Ministry of Tertiary Education and Skills Training had proposed the opening of after-school part-time white-up classes at Southeast Port of Spain Secondary School, expansion of courses at the Success Laventil NESC MIC Technology Centre, and hosting of a job fair in the area. Special needs education program were also considered, and support for single parents were planned, the Prime Minister added. Mrs. Passad Bissessa said the government would ensure the programs were continuous and utilize skills from within the community. She called on faith-based organizations, religious leaders and others to work with the government so that safe and secure communities and a country free from fear could be created. The Prime Minister hoped both the government and opposition had committed to getting it done as expeditiously as possible and to a collaborative approach on the aspects of legislation needed. Joseph Lopez, News 4.
The Ministry of Works and Infrastructure will continue with its aggressive road rehabilitation program. On Sunday, the Honorable Dr. Surajratan Rambachan will launch a number of road rehabilitation projects from 9 a.m. at Light Pole number 454 Road Stamina along the Kamuto Main Road. Now, this is in line with the ministry's continuing thrust to ensure that citizens enjoy reduced travel time from home to places of work and also to conduct their business. Recently, the minister launched roadworks in Freeport Mission Road, Fishing Pond Road, and Todd Station Road. The projects to be launched by the minister this weekend will be to the tune of 38 million, and among the areas to be visited include St. Maria Emmanuel Road, Las Lomas number 3 Road, North and South, and Freeport Mission Road. Minister Rambachan is expected to be accompanied by the respective MPs as well as by Program Director of Pure, Hayden Phillip, and his technical team. When we come back, Golconda to Debe section of the highway to open at month's end. Stay with us. The Honourable Stacey Rupnarine, Member of Parliament for Overage East, insists that the Golconda to Debe section of the highway will be opened by the end of this month. She gives the assurance, or gave the assurance, during a walkabout of her constituency.
Minister Rupnarine has met with some of her constituents to hear their issues and discuss solutions to their problems. The Overage East MP says next on her agenda is to regularize the squatters in her constituency, beginning with those in the Alta Gracia settlement.
So what I'm doing is just a little walkabout in the Alta Gracia Trace area in Siparia. This is something that I quite often do. Every Tuesday I'm in office, and then afterwards we try to walk a different area in the constituency. This particular community, they've expressed the need to fix a part of the road inside Alta Gracia Trace. And there's also a little squatting community here where they've applied for their certificate of comfort. So we will be seeking to look into that situation to see how best we could treat with it and address the needs. So it is really, understanding some of the problems in the community at this stage about seeing what else there is to fix in the constituency.
Meanwhile, the minister in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure says the Golconda to Debe leg of the highway extension is less than 2 weeks away from opening.
We are looking to open at the end of this month. I was advised last week that paving was complete, and therefore the only thing left to put in is the lighting. So the contractor is now working with TNTech to ensure that we have street lighting done along the new highway.
Minister Rupnarine explains the government has taken the decision to compensate and offer land to squatters who are forced to relocate due to the highway extension.
With respect to the squatters, we have been seeking to offer compensation for persons who have structures. Now, one of the things we have to understand with squatters is that legally they may not be entitled to anything, but the state really sees it as our responsibility to assist them and help them in their process of relocation. So we have sought to negotiate with some of the squatters. Payments have been made up to $430,000. I mean, I can't really reveal much more of that, but there were payments made to squatters up to $430,000. And we continue to settle with the squatters. With respect to the squatters as well, Cabinet has also approved land in the Cedar Hill area, which we would offer to the squatters. Obviously, they are persons who do not have land, so we would have to come up with some kind of agreement with the squatters to allow them to relocate.
She adds that within the coming weeks, many of the legitimate homeowners who have also been forced to relocate will be presented with land in Petty Moon.
With respect to bona fide residents, NIDCO is trying to settle with them through private treaty negotiations to pay them for the value of their property. In addition to which, Cabinet has also approved the land in Petty Moon to relocate communities, because we understand that this is a huge number of residents to relocate, almost 300 persons we're talking about. So we're really seeking to relocate the community, and we are doing so in Petty Moon. As a matter of fact, Cabinet has already approved in the first batch 88 persons who can be given those lots in Petty Moon. And my understanding is that those lots are nearing completion, and in the upcoming weeks, those 88 persons can be allocated lots in the Petty Moon area.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
In other news, heavy thunder showers over the weekend caused major impacts to areas throughout Tobago. We spoke to residents of Mason Hall where flooding took place as they narrated exactly what happened.
Franceville, Mason Hall and Lekoto were some of the main villages gravely affected by the heavy weekend showers in Tobago. In the village of Franceville, though the flood had subsided, cleanup and repair activity were still on the way by a team of WASA workers. They indicated to us that due to the amount of rubble pushed down in the river by the heavy rains, one of their main pipes in the area had burst. One resident in that area said the situation has been occurring for several years, and it seems as though no one cares about those in the area who are oftentimes affected by the occurrence. The Franceville resident said that what those in authority usually do is simply fill the river with stones, but he says, as it's evident, that does not assist the problem. We journeyed to the village of Mason Hall, a village that was flooded last Saturday. One of the villagers who rear cattle related how he had to save them through heavy flood waters by himself.
I had to break my pen, open my pen, my sheep and them up to water in the neck, and my pen below off the ground. I had to bring them up on the level ground. Now I had to go over the bridge now to get my rams and them, because I keep them separate from the mother. And I had to lift them bodily by myself to bring them over.
As a result of the flood, he lost 2 of his 40 animals. He said the problem has been happening in Mason Hall for years and no one has assisted the situation. He concluded by offering a solution to the problem.
They have to widen that drain and clear up the wall. It's one outlet, common sense. You understand we? Every water from every direction coming along in the one drain in the back outlet. And this is the problem we've been getting over the years.
We spoke to another Mason Hall resident who reiterated that the problem is not a new one.
Over the weekend, we have been bailing water out of our houses, mopping up mud, rubbish. Because when people use the rubbish, things are wrong. It's just straight in the drain. So that's why all the drains clogs, cause a hazard. Yeah, So it needs to be more sanitary in that sense,
Much of the flood had subsided in that area as well after Saturday's heavy showers.
Minister of Tobago Development, Dr. the Honorable Delman Baker, said he, along with Tobago East Member of Parliament Vanilla Allen Toppin, visited some of the areas gravely affected by the heavy rains or showers last weekend in Tobago, including Mason Hall and its neighboring. He said much more needs to be done by the THA since they are the ones with direct responsibility for drainage works in Tobago.
We have asked, because that's what we can do, because the responsibility for drainage and infrastructure works belongs to the Tobago House of Assembly. So we have been lobbying the members of the Assembly in our specific areas to be able to treat with the concerns of those residents. Some have been assisted through the URP programs where we've seen new drainage occurring. I can commend the division of works for works that they have done in the lowlands area on our request. And I think there was one other area this week that my team had recognized, and they came in and started helping the residents there. The big challenge we note is that too many of those projects start a year later, and we are hoping that the assembly works very quickly during the dry season for routine works, and during the rainy season for emergency works a little faster than it is presently doing.
When we come back, the Trinis bowled out of the CPL tournament. Stay with us. The first of the finalists in the Caribbean Premier League T20 cricket tournament has been determined as Trinidad Red Steel faced off against Guyana Amazon Warriors in the first semi-final last evening.
Red Steel and Amazon Warriors meeting for the third time in this tournament, each team sharing the previous spoils, one win apiece. The Warriors won the toss and chose to field, Kevin O'Brien and Adrian Barth opening the batting for the Red Steel. O'Brien sending tongues wagging with this 4 in the opening over. It wouldn't be long before the Red Steel lost their first wicket. The following over, O'Brien caught and bowled by Tilakaratne Dilshan. Red Steel 11 for 1. Mahela Jayawardene, his replacement, not lasting very long at the crease. He was gone for just 2 runs. Red Steel plodded on, escaping some narrow calls. Once an error, twice a coincidence, but the Warriors weren't about to make it. Third time a habit. Ross Taylor cracking this one to deep mid-wicket. Chris Barnwell taking an easy catch to send him packing. And it was from here on the Red Steel began to lose wickets in pairs. Opener Adrian Barth eager to steal the runs, but instead run out after a mix-up with Darren Bravo on the other end. Bravo on the next ball, his shot sending the ball too high instead of too far. James Franklin getting under it, and he drops it not. Darren Bravo gone for 3, Red Steel 32 for 5. Puran again in this match showing his class, pulling this one over deep mid-wicket fence for the first 6 of the Red Steel's innings. However, he was gone on the next ball, getting a thin edge with Ramlin holding on to it. Captain Dwayne Bravo leading by example with this shot, one of the few boundaries on display in the Red Steel's innings. And then Kevon Cooper with this magnificent 6 off Narine. Then making a mockery of Narine here again with this other huge 6 to give the Red Steel some hope. That hope was short-lived though, Narine changing up the pace on this delivery to trick Cooper into attempting to drag this one over long on, but James Franklin neatly holds on to it. Red Steel on 101 for 7. The final over, Dwayne Bravo trying in vain to post a more defendable total, slicing it to Purmall at deep cover 103 for 9. Lasith Malinga wrapping up the Red Steel's innings prematurely, clean bowling Fidel Edwards without another run added to give Red Steel a difficult total to defend. Red Steel's bowling got off to a decent start. Edwards to William Perkins with a huge appeal for leg before wicket. The umpire having other thoughts about the appeal, shaking his head to say no. Lendell Simmons putting up some resistance. But was gone in the third over. Warriors losing their first wicket for 14 runs. The Warriors, determined not to lose any more early wickets, defended their wicket with shots like this one from Tilakaratne Dilshan, scooping the ball over the keeper's head. Dilshan kept pushing the Warriors nearer their target. But would they get there? Dilshan trying to work this ball onto onside but gets a leading edge. Cooper taking an easy catch on his follow-through. Dilshan caught and bowled by Kevon Cooper for 39. And that would be the last wicket the Warriors will lose. Sarwan hitting this 4 to send them past their target. Warriors winning, closing on 107 for 3, taking the semi-final by 7 wickets with 22 balls remaining. Tilakaratne Dilshan, playing his first match of the league for the Warriors, was named man of the match. Guyana Amazon Warriors wins the first semi-final spot and will face either Barbados Tridents or Jamaica Tallowers in the finals on Saturday. Gregory McBurney, News 4 Sports.
News 4 continues right after the break. Stay with us. The Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards must be the group that connects the country with quality goods and services. This was the view held at the opening ceremony at the InterAmerican Accreditation Cooperation Conference hosted by the Bureau at the Hyatt Regency in Port of Spain.
The Ministry of Trade and Industry and Investment wishes to congratulate the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards for the efforts expanded in hosting this week of events. The Bureau of Standards secured the opportunity to host the 18th International American Accreditation Corporation Annual General Assembly and Conference at this time. This has brought counterparts from the Americas to our shores to discuss and make contributions that affect regional and international accreditation activities.
Acting Trade Minister Dr. Rupert Griffith says the Bureau has been working assiduously to improve the quality of goods and services produced. It is the invisible process working for the competitiveness and sustainable development of our country, thereby contributing to the quality of life of every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago.
The Inter-American Accreditation Corporation, the IAAC, is a corporation of accreditation bodies, certification, registration and inspection bodies, testing, calibration laboratories, and other interested parties whose objective is to facilitate commercial exchange among the nations in the region of the Americas through a system of conformity assessment bodies.
Because of the increased recognition of the Bureau's accreditation service, Minister Griffith said the expansion of certification services for products, improvement of locally produced goods through testing and calibration services, and the international recognition of laboratory services has become possible. Dr. Puran Bridgemohan, the Bureau's chairman, agreed with Minister Griffith and said, by improving and standardizing the quality of service in the country, international trade would be improved as well.
The focus of quality then was to protect the consumer from poor quality goods and services in Trinidad and Tobago. The standards were developed to ensure a minimum safe product was produced, and the Bureau's work with manufacturers were really to assist them in improving quality and maintaining minimum standards.
Derek Omar, Executive Director of the Bureau, lamented the amount of complaints citizens have about products, both imported and exported. He said many people tout that they produce quality products, but they and the customer do not have the same view on quality.
The challenge faced in Trinidad and Tobago is that the abstract term quality needs to be defined nationally to really make it tangible to us as a people. To make it tangible, we as a country need to define our requirements for quality. Quality in goods and services produced or used in our market and exported.
The IAAC is a cooperation of accreditation, certification, registration and inspection bodies that test and calibrate laboratories and other interested bodies whose objectives are to facilitate commercial exchange among the countries of the region. The conference will discuss the impact of quality and accreditation for national development. Among its objectives are the promotion of quality infrastructure in the area of renewable energy and energy efficiency, and to demonstrate the importance of measurement assurance to assist in establishing quality and competence. Joseph Lopez, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for joining us.